Madness Network. So come get some. CromCon.
Hey, we want to shout out to our sponsors, Daytona Beach Comic Con. If you are a fan of comic books, if you're a fan of comic book conventions, and if you like meeting comic book creators and getting comics and comic-related stuff, then you need to make your plans to attend Daytona Beach Comic Con. This year's show is September 9th and 10th. Silverline will be there, so you should make your plans to be there too. We'll see you there. If you like comics and find yourself in the Orlando, Florida area, doesn't everyone come to Orlando at some point in time to see the House of Mouse? But when you're here, you need to make it a point to visit Coliseum of Comics, especially the one on East Colonial Drive. They carry Silverline Comics, even a limited edition Coliseum of Comics version of our comics. So, when you go, be sure to ask for Silverline Comics and tell them we sent you. OCD stands for Orlando Collector Deviants. OCD, Steve and Trish, they're a family of geeks who promote geek things, particularly those around the Orlando, Florida area. They're big supporters of Silverline, and we think you should be supporters of theirs too. Go give them some love. If you are an independent comic book maker and you need to get your independent comics made, you need to look no further than Kablam Digital Printing. They print our books, and they do a bang-up job. They're not only trusted by Silverline, but many, many independent comic book makers. Head on over to kablam.com and see for yourself just how easy it is to have your comic printed by them. And tell them Silverline sent you.
Hi, this is Tim TK, host of That Silverline Show on Tuesday. Join us at 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific every Tuesday night as we discuss pop culture and the joys of making comics.
Hi, I'm Barb Kilber, co-host of Silverline's Wednesday Wham. Join us each Wednesday night as we discuss comics, literature, movies, and anything else that may catch our attention.
I'm Roland Mann, and I host Silverline's Silver Sunday. Join me every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern as we make mine Silverline.
Evening, everybody.
Hello.
Oh, there's Rob. He's on solo.
You got me
now
on
I'm
full
on
screen.
solo. Now, how do I get? Here we go. Let's try this. Oh no! What did I do? Uh-oh. Let's take.
You bumped me.
I bumped you, and if I do this, then I'm gonna put you
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
Oh, what am I doing? I have no idea what's going on. For some reason, none of my buttons are working. I'm so sorry, ladies and gentlemen, but welcome to Wednesday Wham. I am your host, Martin Bertonen, and we are joined by the venerable Rob Davis. If I can find a way to get him on the screen, I will.
I'm in the East room. I mean, in the green room.
Uh-huh.
There I am.
There we go. We got to, there we go. Hey,
now
welcome
we're
to the jungle.
live. Yay.
I mean, welcome to the panel. These are panels. We'll talk comics and panels. All right. Well, and our Empress of Inks, Barb Kalberg, is not able to join us this week, unfortunately, because she happens to be on vacation. Hopefully she's enjoying herself and not too tied up with other things. Yeah, and hopefully people down there in the States. I'm up in Canada, but heard that you guys had a lot of tornadoes, so wishing everyone who may have been affected all the best down there. I hope you are doing okay. So, yeah.
Missed
Rob,
us.
what have you? Yeah,
Missed us.
what have you been up to, good sir?
Well, for the last 2 weeks, I've been traveling with the local college golf team. That's why I wasn't able to make the last two Wednesday Whams. Because, the problem is they usually have dinner about the same time that we're having Wednesday Wham. So although I am capable of joining when I'm on the road with my laptop or my iPad, because I'm using the iPad now. Because of the situation, we're at dinner, and so I can't cancel that to come on Wednesday Wham. So
So did your golf team win?
The girls didn't make the cut. They start out with 30 teams, and they play for 2 days, and the top 15 teams stay. The ladies did not make the cut, so they came back home a day or two early. But the men then took the opportunity, because the women had come back. I had one night stay at home, turned right around and drove down to Dalton, Georgia, which is in the middle upper section of the state of Georgia. And it's about a 9-hour drive from where I am. And Martin's cut out on us. But so drove down there, and the men's team made the cut and actually ended up in 4th place for the whole show, for the whole tournament. It's a national tournament, NAIA national tournament, and they ended up in 4th place. So, so I guess we'll have to wait here for Martin to appear again tonight. Trying to think of what there he made it back.
Yeah, I don't know.
I was still here, so I was telling everybody how it ended up. I ended up driving the men's golfers down to Dalton, Georgia, which is in the upper strip of Georgia, almost right in the middle of the state. And the men made the cut. They actually were like in the top 5 when they made the cut. And by the end of the tournament, they were in 4th place and ended up in 4th place. So, and that's the NAIA National Championship. So, congrats to them. They did a great job. But then we had to turn right around and try. If we'd done it straight through, it would be a 9-hour drive with no stops. It's like 9 hours. So we drove halfway back, and then the next day got home. But the men did really, really well. The women had a really good season until they got to the nationals, and they were up against some really tough players. So, but that was my last 2 weeks. Now, I did happen to, while I was waiting for the teams to get done with what they were doing, I actually had some time to set up a little portable studio and do a little bit of work while I was gone. So I got a 2-page spread for Boston Bombers done. And then I also had some illustrations for one of the books that we're working on for Airship 27. I got like 3 illustrations done for that to complete the book. And now it's assembled and off to a proofreader.
Awesome. You willing to show us what's on your board there?
Well, yeah. This is the secret project right here.
Secret project.
I was going to try and lay out a page for that. I don't know if you saw if we showed this page last time. I don't know if I had it.
No, I don't think we did. No,
I think I finished this up on the road as well.
Okay.
That's the page, and I've blocked the name of it, so you can't tell what it is.
Yeah. So folks, keep your eyes open for that. That's a project that Rob is working on with Barb.
Yeah, once we get a lot further along, we'll announce what it is. And then there's this 2-page spread I did for Boston Bombers. It's after these 2 pages, then there's only 2 more to go. So 20, I believe it's 27 pages for the whole book, for that whole issue. But I need to scan this in and then letter it. But it's ready to roll there. But I have the secret project out because I was going to take one of the Silverline pages and lay it out. But I will have to do that after our discussion. And we are discussing Miss Fury.
Today we are talking about Miss Fury. So now let me see if I can just
because I know to be honest, I know very little about her, other than that she's a public domain comics character. I don't even know what company did her originally.
Yeah, so we will get into all of that in 1 second as soon as I find my drawing that I wanted to show off here.
That's
if I
right.
can
You
get
did.
the,
You did a drawing that you of the character. Go.
So yeah, so we can all kind of get an idea of who this character is. Let me see if I can find. Okay, for some reason I have lost my.
You're having
Clip
technical
Studio.
difficulties tonight, man.
Yeah, it's we're having some fun tonight here. All right, so I am so sorry, folks. All right, yeah. So Miss Fury is a comic book character who's in the private domain. She was created by a woman named June Tarpe Mills, and she went with the name Tarpe because it was a little bit more gender neutral. Now, I have never met a man or a woman named Tarpe, so
Yeah.
I think Tarpe was actually. I did a little bit of reading on her history, and somebody wrote something up, and apparently somebody had the last name Tarpe in her family, or Tarpui, Tarpui, or Tarpey. RPE with an apostrophe.
Yeah, you blipped out there for a minute, Martin.
Oh, yep. So, all right. I am going to just shut this program down for a minute and see if we can get this on the screen here somehow. All right. Okay. So sorry about that. We'll show you some pretty pictures and everything, folks.
So the character was created by a female creator.
Yeah. So actually, so interestingly enough, this was the first superhero female character created by a female, and she beat Wonder Woman to the market by 6 months. So yeah, which is a very interesting little tidbit of information.
And she had to disguise the creator had to disguise herself, or make it nebulous as to what sex she was, because in those days, women were second-class citizens, really second-class citizens.
Yeah.
So, and not considered worthy of importance or consideration. Uh-oh, we lost Martin again.
So,
yeah, you're back.
Yeah.
You were gone again.
Can't seem to get my program up and running. Oh, there it is. Let's see if we can get that. Will that come up? There. All right. For some reason, everything got kicked out. I don't know why. So let's see if this actually launches. And is it coming up? Is it coming up? No, it's not coming up. All right. So what we are going to do instead is we will launch the wonderful actual comic strip, so we can take a look at that instead, so that we have something to look at. All right. Well, fine. We'll go here.
You're having a great evening here, Martin. Man.
Yes, sir. All right. So this is Silverline's book. So let's see if we can add that to stage. Add that to stage, and let's see.
She's in the team up book, right?
She is in the team up book. Full screen layout at the stage. There we go. There. All right. So this is, I believe this is Peter Clinton's work. Would that be correct? Do you know?
Yes, from the
Yes.
looks of it, that's
Yes.
that's Peter's work.
Yeah,
He's
let
got
me
a
just
very
make sure.
very dynamic
Yes,
style.
Peter Clinton. Yes.
Peter
So
Clinton.
I've been trying to figure out who his influences are, and but it's beautiful work. Very dynamic. The first book was good, and this one's even better. His work is going up the chart. He is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, Peter's going to go somewhere if he
So-
sticks with this.
So we are going to.
He's hella talented, as they say.
Yeah. So we at Silverline will want to keep this young man on our roster as long as we can. So if you're interested, folks, for into action and adventure stories, this is a fantastic tale, and there's currently a Kickstarter going on right now. Hey, David, how's it going? Mr. Rios has joined us in the chat. And Mr. Cliff Woodbury, hello, welcome to the chat. Thanks for joining us. So Cliff was saying, good looking art there, Rob. So, yeah. All right. So Mr. Clinton has given us Miss Fury as Miss Fury and Champion. And that on the ledge there is Silverline's own demon. He's called Demon. He's not a demon. He's just a furry critter who
looks
to be
like
in
a demon,
lab
so.
accident. Yeah. Well, people call him a demon, and he has 3 tails, and he's one of everyone's favorite characters. But he just happens to be a furry accident from a lab accident in Cat and Mouse, the first series, which was written by our venerable. Wait, not venerable. What? You're venerable. What's Roland Man's title? The esteemed Roland Man. So,
Editor-in-Chief.
Editor-in-Chief. Yes.
EIC, Editor-in-Chief of Silverline Comics.
Yeah, no, I just want to show off the panel here. The fantastic, where is it? Where it's there? This is what I want to show off right here. This is a fantastic kick, if you've ever seen a fantastic kick.
Yeah, very dynamic work, yeah.
So this is just awesome. That's what that is. So this character would have been the influence for Catwoman from DC. So she became a the kind of like the template for that. Oh, she has the name
she has
Fury
some of the
written
look
into
of Catwoman, definitely.
Yeah. So Catwoman stole from her, and then now you go back and everyone's like, hey, it's Catwoman. No, this is Miss Fury. So now she started off as a character named Black Fury, but about a year into the run, they changed her name to Miss Fury because someone else started another comic called Black Fury, and they didn't want to confuse things. So she changed the name to Miss Fury, and the story is about a character named Marla Drake, who happens to get a costume of a Black Panther of some kind from Africa, and then they put the suit on and they go out gallivanting around as a superhero. So yeah, so now this Miss Fury happens to be what's called a public domain character, and that means anybody can take her and do stuff with her, and Silverline has decided to run with it. But the reason why Silverline has a connection here is because Roland wrote up a story in the 90s for Miss Fury for Malibu Comics. I believe it was Malibu, maybe not. Let me double check on that.
It was Malibu or one of its sister stories.
Yeah. All right. Let's see if we can bring that back. Share screen. So let's.
I pulled up her overview here, and it says the character's real identity is wealthy socialite Marla Drake. She has no innate superpowers, but gains increased strength and speed when she dons a special skin-tight catsuit when fighting crime. The panther skin was bequeathed to her by her uncle, who said it was used by an African witch doctor in voodoo ceremonies. So that's an interesting, a very interesting origin story for her. She had several it looks like she had several recurring villains, Nazi agents, and there's a love interest here. Detective Dan Carey is a complication, which there were a lot of those in pulp and early Golden Age comics, because the Golden Age was pretty much inspired by the pulp characters, and like the Shadow and those kind of characters. Let's see. When Marla Drake was drawn wearing a bikini in 1947, 37 newspapers dropped the strip in response. Wow. The Miss Fury comic strip ran until 1952. Wow, Marvel Comics had her for a while. From the Timely at that time known as Timely Comics, reprinted her Sunday strips in comic book form from 1942 to 1946 in 8 issues published from winter 1942 to winter 1945. Okay, wow. Yeah. But yeah, it's since then, because she fell into the public domain, several companies have had versions of her come out. Silverline among them, and of course Malibu. Dynamite had her in 2012.
Dynamite still is publishing stories with her.
Okay, issues 10 through 12 of Malibu Comics Protectors. Yeah. Okay. So she was in like 2 or 3 issues of the Protector series, which was a comic book series Malibu came out with in the 90s that was all public domain characters. Most of it written by the main book, The Protectors itself, was written by R.A. Jones, my old pal.
Mm-hmm.
So. Let's see, 20.
Oh, there we go. We finally got a pinup. All right.
Okay, you found your pinup?
Found my pinup. There we
is.
go. Hey. All right. So sorry about the delay there, folks. So this is our character here. So this is what we came up with myself, because I was inspired. So here she is. She's got her rope and she's standing somewhere in some dark place. And yeah. All right, let's see. As soon as I saw this podcast about a week ago, I knew I had to catch this show. Not like I don't want to watch a lot of them. Miss Fury is one of the coolest looking comic book characters, male or female. That is Cliff. Hopefully we're doing this justice. I am apologizing for our technical difficulties today. So yes. Did I miss the Musketeer roll call? Hello, Jason Remick. How are you? Is it Jason or Jackson? I'm not sure which.
Jackson, probably. Jax. Yeah, that's Jackson, probably.
So are all you Miss Fury set in the Golden Age? No, they are not all set in the Golden Age.
The Silverline thing is modern age, isn't it? It looked like it.
Yes. So
I saw the pages.
Champion, yes, the Champion and Fury is set in the modern age. So we're going to delve into this history a little bit because it's very, very interesting. Because so June Tarpe Mills made the character, and it's a wonderful character, and somewhere along the line, she gets Miss Fury gets a reboot by one of the brands by it's Jackson. Hi Jackson, sorry about not pronouncing your name right there. All right. So Miss Fury started as one of the as a newspaper strip back in the 40s. And she happened to be the first female superhero character created by a female artist, and beat Wonder Woman to the punch by 6 months. and she was in the newspapers for at least 10 years. So it had a 10-year run, and the stories were quite innovative and very interesting. So now the interesting thing is the artist actually based the character off of herself. So essentially, the lady who was creating June Tarpe Mills, who was creating the work, she basically was drawing herself into the stories. Now, if I can get this up and running and show you all the screen, you'll see what happens if I do this. Will it give it to me? Entire screen. Allow. All right. So if I flip over here, will I get what I want? No, it's not giving me what I want. I'm so sorry, folks, because I want to show you the original art, because the original art there's a uniqueness to the original art that is.
You mean Tarpe Mills's art?
Yeah,
That's
Tarpe Mills.
Yeah.
Her art has a very interesting look to it that is very kind of hard to put a finger on. Like you could say that it has a little bit of Chester Gould, who
he was a heavy influence on many cartoon strips. Yeah,
but the strange thing is, Tarpe Mills's underlying foundations of her art, I think, has an element of realism to it.
Whereas Chester Gould was very stylized and angular.
Right. So Miss Fury still has stylization to it, but there's an element of real to it as well. I am having so much trouble getting this. I don't know why it's not giving me. It is not giving me the browsers. I'm so sorry, folks. Not now. Okay, so June.
Yeah, apparently she created several Action Comics characters: Devil's Dust, the Catman, the Purple Zombie, and Daredevil Barry Finn. Before she created her most remembered character, Miss Fury, in 1941. She penciled and inked these for comic book series prior to Miss Fury. She did a bunch of different comics. Funny Pages, Star Comics, Amazing Mystery Funnies, Amazing Man Comics, Mask Marvel, Prize Comics, Target Comics, and Regular Fellers. Heroic Comics. What a name for a book. And Miss Fury ran until 1952, when Tarpe Mills mostly retired from the comics industry. She briefly returned in 1971 with Our Love Story for Marvel Comics. Wow. And in 1979 began work on a Miss Fury graphic novel, which would remain unfinished, unfortunately. And she died on 12th of December 1988 in Brooklyn, New York, and is buried in Forest Green Cemetery in Morganville, New Jersey. She was inducted into the Will Eisner Awards Hall of Fame on July 19th, 2019. So,
yeah.
Right, it says here Miss Fury was modeled on the work. Miss Fury was modeled on the work of Milton Caniff. Her portrayal of action across multiple panels, which he did a lot, as well as the natural poses and facial expressions of her character, had been described as cinematic, echoing the film noir style. Mills's characters also possessed a pin-up quality. Obviously, that's the biggest draw about the character of Miss Fury, was that she was kind of a pin-up character. As I mentioned earlier, she was she was drawn in a bikini and was canceled from like 47 newspapers back in or a bunch of newspapers back in the day of 1940. It was in 47 is when it happened. So that's interesting piece of work. Now you look at the costumes that women wear on the beach these days, and that would be laughable.
Yeah. Oh,
that's interesting. So yeah, the Milton Caniff, and I believe his biggest influence was a fellow called Noel Sickles, and they had a real. And I even see some of that influence in John Romita's work. John Romita Sr., his early work was very Milton Caniffish. It has a cinematic style to it, and I studied some of the Steve Canyon strips to get how to pull your eye across the page, because he did that expertly in his comic strips. He even had from what I understand, he even had a formula that he used to get to help draw the reader's eye across the page in his strips. And he had he was extremely good at what I call spotting blacks, which is another way to give form to the characters and to give depth to the scenes, and heavier lines underneath and in shadows and that sort of thing. So that's, if you can pull up some of that, it'd be really interesting to see how that influenced her work.
Yeah. I'm trying to get something up.
I know you're having a hell of a time.
Sorry.
We're in a visual medium and we can't bring up any images, which is it really stinks on. And I could actually say more about it, because that's essentially what I was waiting for is to look at some of it and kind of give some information on what I thought it looked like. So
no, for some reason this is just not okay. All right, there we go. So this was our original Silverline team up, which is a modern tale. So there's Champion and Miss Fury. Champion comes out of Chicago. Miss Fury is down in New Orleans, and they are taking care of business down there. So this is, where are we going?
Yeah, there's that
kick again.
That kick again. Wow.
No, I want to go here. All right, there we go. Now we're in the right place. Let's close this up, and there's another wonderful kick.
Oh wow! Yeah, that's nice. Coming right at you.
And so Champion happens to be a firefighter, and he goes and he rescues some little baby, but he runs into some bad guys. This was the first dynamic issue, but let's go meet Miss Fury. Miss Fury happens to have a child, as far as I can tell, and as far as I can tell, her name is Marla Drake, which is the original character's name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So this is some sort of follow-up to, either this is just a modernization of the original character, or it is
it looks like Peter put himself in this. That looks like Peter there in that second panel down there.
Where there he is
with the phone. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's outside the airport and he calls the boss. Yeah, it's me. He's on the ground. He's with someone else. Yep. But let's see if we can get Miss Fury in costume here. There we go. There's Miss Fury doing her thing. So jumping around. So yeah. So Cliff Woodbury tells us, he says, I figured the story you displayed was in the modern times because the individual she was fighting interested in your stories. Anyways, it's sad she never had a movie made yet. Yeah. So this is something that I was interested in. How aware were people of Miss Fury? She was in the comics. I think
comic strips.
She was comic strips. Sunday Funnies for 10 years. So it'd be 1940s to the 50s. And she was apparently in 300 papers, and then they did reprints as comic books later. from what I could tell. So how aware were people of this character? That I'm very curious to know.
Well, being born in 1954, I was too young to have seen any of the strips. It's ended in, I believe, 52, and so I'd never heard of her until I saw the stuff from Malibu. And I went, oh, and seeing that she looked kind of like Catwoman, and going, wow, this must be because I knew she was public domain character that they had revived. And I'm going, wow, this must be a precursor to the Catwoman look, because of the cat suit, the tight fitting black costume.
Mm-hmm. All right, I'm gonna see if I can do a drag and drop and. No, get off my screen. Okay, I'm not going there anymore. No. Okay, sorry about that, folks. I'm not gonna.
Oh, you found something bad, huh?
Yeah, no. Yeah, that was not. Yeah. So the source that I use to get the stuff, like I always go there with a Tor browser, so I don't ever see any of the stuff that they end up pushing in the like all. So I was trying to see if I could go a roundabout way, and that does not work. So we will not do that. So, all right. So I am so sorry, folks. I'm going to see if I can dig up. I'm going to see if I can dig up some of Roland's work on Miss Fury that he did, because that was some pretty dynamic stuff. It was a very interesting tale, and it was So what happened was he extended the story. So I guess the original Marla Drake has passed away in his tale, and so she has passed away.
And her daughter takes over.
And I don't know if it's her daughter per se. It might be her niece, or well, there's the two sisters that end up kind of becoming both Miss Furies. Or Miss Fury and Black Fury or something. Which is
what she was called originally, Black Fury. Yeah.
So and then they end up fighting each other, and they're not sure who each other is, and then they think they know who each other is, and then it's a crazy tale. Let's see if I can at least copy link. Let's see if we can get the cover. No, I didn't want to copy link. I want to copy the image. Let's copy image. There we go. All right. Control V. Oh, that didn't work. Did not like that. I had everything all set up, and then everything's gone to pot.
Yep.
Now. All right. So while we're at it, I will, because Roland wrote the books, I'm going to just show off some of Roland's writing stuff. There's Cat and Mouse that he did, which is one of Silverline's books. He did Trumps, which is a fantastic comic. He wrote that. And then he also wrote, what else has he written? He's written so much stuff. He's written a sword and sorcery tale called Cray. And he wrote something back in the day called Switchblade. He also wrote something about a bow and arrow character. I'm not sure what his name was. I think it might have been Arrow. Now, one thing I've noticed about Mr. Man in his writing style, he's got a little bit of an edge to his work.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure
just a bit.
And the thing is that his edge is you don't notice it until it's too late. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
So if you want an exciting tale, you grab a Mr. Man story, a Roland Man stories, and you start reading it, and then you're reading it, and you're like, everything is this is all hunky dory and everything's great, and then he throws in a monkey wrench, and you're like, what did I just read? Like, where did that? what is going on here? This is crazy. So when he did his Miss Fury series for Adventure Comics is who it was.
Okay. Yep.
Which was an imprint of Malibu, I believe. So when he did his story for that, he threw in a very interesting backstory, which kind of messed with your head. Let me see if I can pull this off here. Here we go. All right, we're gonna get a cover. We're at least gonna get a cover here in a second.
There's some of her work I pulled up on my phone from the comic strip.
Did you?
Yeah.
All right.
Got it on my phone there.
Okay, here, let's see if we can give you the solo screen there. All right, solo layout. All right, there we go. Okay, so there we go. Black and white, some black and white stuff for Miss Fury. It's a little bit fuzzy.
Yeah,
so that's what the original.
Yeah.
So it's usually a nine panel grid, if I remember.
Yeah.
If I
3, 6, 9. There's actually 12 on this one, but
a 12.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, it is 12. It's 12 panel grid. Wow.
Yeah.
So.
But you can kind of see this looks like a very early one here. There's not much background, but some very cinematic in that she plays with light, like in this panel here. So yeah, and here's a 9 panel grid one here. Well, that's the Phantom. It's not her. But yeah. But yeah, it does look very, early Milton Caniff and they kind of early Batman stuff too. Because
But if you take a quick look at there, Rob, from your perspective, her art, there's something going on in her art that the other guys don't have. Would you say that there's maybe what I'm looking at is an elegance that's not in.
Yeah,
it's not as brutal.
Well, it's not as crude. I think
Yeah.
there's a certain, I wouldn't say softness because there's hard edges in her work, but there's smooth lines and and she draws good looking women. So that goes a long way, especially when your audience is male. It's good to be able to draw a well-formed female. So I would say that from looking at her work.
All right, here we go. Here's a cover for one of Roland's books for Miss Fury. It was a 4-issue miniseries, and this was done by Roland Man, I believe Mitch Bird, and I'm not sure who the looks like colorist or inker was Grow. I'm not sure who that is, but this was what it looked like for the cover anyway. And so this was a fascinating tale if you read it. So what ends up happening is the Miss Fury ends up going out and starting to do her Miss Fury thing, and it turns out there's another Miss Fury running around. I believe it ends up being her sister.
Huh. Okay. Yeah, I missed all that the first time around. I never had any of those books, so that's even though I was working for Adventure in Malibu at the time. I
Yeah,
don't
so
I
the
don't remember
sister,
getting into any of those in my preview box.
so the sister ends up being a hardened criminal, and she ends up dealing with the drug dealers and stuff and blowing a bunch of guys away.
Wow. Okay.
It's pretty
Talk about
hardcore.
a hard edge.
And
Okay.
it's a hardcore book, and then Miss Fury here, she goes and takes care of business. I won't give it away because if somebody wants to go and look it up, because it's a pretty intense tale. And it has some fantastic action sequences and has some pretty interesting shots throughout the book. But there's a moment in the book that threw me for a complete loop, and it happens. So I think the girls are living. I'm not 100% sure if they're living with their dad or if it's their grandpa. But maybe it's their grandpa. I'm not sure exactly who it is, but so the original Miss Fury, was a so Roland did his research and he read the original Miss Fury. So the original Miss Fury ended up being hooked up with some guy, and then at some point in time, something happened. She was connected with some spies, and either the man that's the grandpa or the father, I don't know. I wish I could bring it back up on screen so I could actually give you the rundown. Ended up actually becoming her boyfriend and had a daughter with her or something.
Wow.
and then let me see if I can bring it up, because it is, if you want soap opera, this is soap opera to the nth degree. Yeah, okay, so I am going to find it because it is a fascinating twist, and it just threw my head for a complete loop when I read the backstory here. Okay, here it is. Dan Carey was the husband of the original Miss Fury, Marla Drake. Marlene Hale, granddaughter of Dan Carey and Miss Fury of today, or rather, one of them. So there's more than one Miss Fury running around. So he's talking to this girl Marlene, and he says, "Who could the other Miss Fury be?" He says, "Can I tell her that I think it may be Stephanie, my own daughter, and her aunt?"
Wow.
So, okay. So his own daughter, who happens to be her aunt, so she's his granddaughter, I guess. Yeah, granddaughter. "Grandpa, I've told you I have no idea who it could be. Can't tell him I think it's Stephanie, his own daughter."
Wow.
I want to show you guys these pages, but I can't get this thing to work. I'm so sorry. So you have this crazy tale going on "I'm as frustrated as you are, probably more. I remember that in the 40s, someone else pretended to be Miss Fury's. You told me this already, except, did you ever find out who it was? It was your grandma, Erica." So her grandmother also was Miss Fury at some point. What? Surely you don't. Oh, I'm not suggesting she's putting the suit on now. For heaven's sake, girl. She's too old to do that kind of thing. So they're trying to figure out who the other Miss Fury is. And she's like, "Is it my grandma?" So there's a lot of family stuff going on in here. Yeah, I don't know. But there's somewhere else in the story where he tells her the backstory of like, I think he ended up hooking up with the original Miss Fury or something. I don't know. So It's so if you want some intriguing family stuff going on, it's just the book for you. So oh, there he is. LOL. Roland, just hearing this, yeah, you have to follow the genealogy. It's their grandfather, and you find they were characters from the original strip. Their grandmother was the Nazi spy.
Oh
my goodness.
Oh wow.
Right.
Wow.
So in the original strip, Miss Fury ends up having she has the hots for an original character, or an original character had the hots for her, but then they never end up getting together, and he ends up hooking up with the Nazi spy, and she had a swastika branded into her forehead. So at some point in time,
oh my word!
Yes, so she then combs her hair into a peak, so it covers up the Nazi
symbol, the swastika. Okay,
the swastika, and then yeah, pretty crazy stuff. And then there's this German character who keeps coming in and out of the story nonstop. I don't know if he's a love interest for Miss Fury or not. Maybe Roland can pop in there and tell us about that. But she ends up hooking up with another guy, but it's not the original guy that she started with. And then she might have some sort of weird love triangle going on. Oh, Roland says, I had the entire family tree worked out. Malibu didn't want to run it, even though I thought it was pretty cool.
They didn't want to put the family tree in. They didn't want to put the wow. Okay.
Well, then Miss Fury and her kittens.
Oh, that's horrible.
Oh, that
is
would be hilarious.
That's
oh my
horrible.
Goodness. She could have kittens, and then they could all be like, that's a tabby, and that's
a stop.
Persian Himalayan.
Just stop.
I'm so sorry,
no.
folks. We've now gone off the
No.
rails. I think that would be absolutely hilarious. Well, because you have two Miss Furies already, the grandma, Roland, and then if you threw the grandma back into her costume and it didn't fit, and then she goes out and tries to do stuff, and then she like limping around because she has bad knees or something, that would have just,
Well, the costume was supposed to give her powers, from what I read. So that might compensate for some of that, but yeah.
Yeah, the original kind. So I don't think she ever really had powers. Now, interestingly enough, the original.
No, it gave her strength, gave her exceptional strength, but that's about it.
Yeah. Maybe they'd be a clouder. Is that what you call a group of cats? Is a clouder? Yeah. So. Not in the original that I recall. Which was not in the original that you recall?
What, that she had powers?
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah, I think she just had super strength when she put on or increased strength when she put on the costume.
But it wasn't.
Apparently, it was voodoo. It was a voodoo infused costume. Apparently.
Right. Yeah. So he's saying, the costume didn't give her powers. Yeah.
No.
So
okay. I read that, and I was reading the Wikipedia entry, and it said that. So maybe that's another iteration of her later on.
It might have been hinted at. It might have been hinted at in the original. Script, but
Roland would know. He did all the research, and he's got the family tree worked out.
Yeah,
and all that.
If it did give her powers, it was hardly ever used or mentioned. So so in the original strip, interestingly enough, she dons the costume for the first several years. There's a whole swath of stretch where there's no costume put on at all.
Wow.
So, yeah. So it's very interesting to see that she's Miss Fury for the most, like just being herself, and she ends up in all sorts of precarious situations and stuff like that. So let's see what Roland you're telling us. I think that was something that Billy Tucci, one of the Dynamite guys, added, but pretty sure it wasn't in the original.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. She was more she was a non-powered superhero in the Batman mold, and yes, exactly, just an acrobatic
chick in a cat suit.
Yep.
So
that makes sense.
So her original outing is she starts off. She's just going off to a party, and as she's going off to a party, she's going out to a party, and she puts on her original outfit, and then she finds out that another girl has the exact same outfit as her. So she decides, oh, I got to wear something different, and so then she puts on the cat suit that she happens to have because it's different and it's going to make her stand out. And she goes on her way to the party, but she never makes it to the party because there's an accident and some bad guys, and then she ends up taking out the bad guys. Because the bad guys take out a cop. She takes out the bad guy, then she hooks the cop up to the bad guy, and then she drives away and goes back home. So she ends up solving the original case, and then she continues doing her adventures as the.
Then she's hooked. She's hooked as a hero.
Yeah. Exactly. And then her stories are very fascinating. So again, if I could show the original art, I would, but I can't get it up on my screen. But because the original comic strips, they were fantastic. They were exceptionally well done. In a strange way, even though they're not like modern day dynamic comic panels, the storytelling is compelling, and they pulls you through.
What little I saw on my phone was it was very, very well done.
Yeah.
There were close-ups for emotional impact and good use of shadows and lighting, and you're pulled through. You've got the pull through the imagery on the page. It looks, everything I saw it was like Sundays, Sunday strips, which were very popular at that point with adventure strips. So it would be like almost like a comic book page, very similar to a comic book page, but it would have a chapter of the story each week in that one panel. Like the one I showed, the one I saw had 12. It was a 12. 3, 6, 9, 12, four tiers, 3 panels each tier. So it was kind of standardized, but very, very, and it was Milton Caniff inspired. It had some of that feel to it, but it was his. I think Milton Caniff drew really beautiful females, but I think hers were even better because I think she had a better, obviously being female herself, she had a better feel for females. So both of them drew beautiful women.
So the thing that I think was going on with Tarpe Mills is that she how do I put this? She would draw herself.
Yeah.
And I think she ended up just drawing herself all the time, and so there was an element of realness to her stuff. So
that wouldn't work for Milton.
Yeah. So if Roland, if you're around, can you give us a little bit of insight as to did you ever talk with Tarpe Mills herself, or was it just
she died in '88? She died in '88.
Okay, so she died before.
Yeah, and I think '91 is when Roland started doing that book, Miss Fury.
Right.
I think that was the number I saw on it, but she died in 1988.
Right. Okay, so 1991.
Yeah, I was thinking that was when those started.
So 91, but did he? Yeah, I did not talk with her. Oh, that's too bad. Yeah. So, Okay. Well, anyways, let me see if I can pull up or present book that is now in the middle of being funded by Fund My Comic. It has been fully funded by 162%, but if you are into adventures and wonderful stories, this would be.
Well, I think there's some stretch goals involved with this as well. So.
Yep. So I will just post that link in the comments here. There we go. So
there it is.
That's what it is. That's the link. If you're reading that on screen, that's probably gonna be a little bit of a nightmare. So what you want to do in your wonderful Google search bar or whatever. Sorry, I probably shouldn't be giving names out. Whatever search bar you want to use, type in Silverline Team Up number 1 and 2, and it will pop up. Or type in Fund My Comic, Silverline Team Up 1 and 2, and this will pop up into the wonderful feed. So, are you going to, so there's a question here from Cliff Woodbury. Are you going to feature any of our other characters in this book? As in, Cliff, what you mean, like characters from the past? From the comic strip? Is that what you're asking? And I'll see if I can. I think I don't know. I don't think those characters are in the current books.
Well, every character in the strip is that was in the original strip is probably public domain, so they could be used. And whether they are or not, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's
so. Cliff. So Roland is an answer for you. He says not immediately. No. I want to get her to New Orleans for she is part of the Silverline Central. Then we'll see what happens. Oh, so if she takes off, maybe some of the other characters might come in a modern incarnation. So that like Devil's Dust, yes. Okay, I guess that's one of the characters from the original comics.
Not familiar with that at all. Like I said to start with, I was not that familiar with Miss Fury at all. So I was gonna react to the images. So unfortunately, we've had trouble with that tonight.
Yeah, I am so sorry that
it is what it is, as they say. Is this is all Peter Clinton's work here?
Yes, this is Peter Clinton's work.
Yeah,
very fantastic,
very dynamic.
So I'm going to say from the first book is good. The second book is even better. It's just he improved so much between the first and second books. Like there's just awesome stuff. Clean, easy to read, dynamic. It's great action sequences. I am not going to give away the dramatic bit. So Roland, who loves to write his what do we call it, soap opera bits, and he knocks it out of the park in this one again. You're sitting on the edge of your seat at the end of this. So
cliffhanger.
Yeah. You're like, whoa, oh wow, okay. And he punches you in the gut. He gives you the adventure, and then he punches you in the gut at the end, and you're like, oh man, what's happening next? So Cliff, I understand they may have died off, but Devil Dust sounds like he could be alive. Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Well, there's also the Nazi character that always comes back over and over and over and over again. And he never dies. He always. And David Rios, I proofread the book. It's a great read. So that is the new champion in Miss Fury book. He says it's a great read. Cliff, she is a great character to have as a centerpiece to a universe. Miss Fury, yes, she is. Or he is a side piece, either or. Cat and Mouse, what we'll say is our centerpiece for our universe. Soap opera. Roland, this is soap opera. LOL. Yes, you're writing a soap opera here, good sir.
Well,
You've got all the attributes of a soap opera, or I don't know.
yeah. There's a cliffhanger at the end of each chapter.
Yeah.
And
You've got
there's usually a
for,
running subplot of some sort, and
Yep.
one will, while one is petering out, another one comes in. So yeah, that's
Yep.
soap opera-ish. Yep.
So he's
And
got
Marvel
it going
Comics
on.
started doing that in the '60s to great effect. So
So champion. So let's see if we can go back here to the start. Where am I going here? Let's see if I can find the right place there. All right, let's go back up here. Let's go find Mr. Champion here. Oh, that's Demon. Champion. Where are you?
yeah, he was there. Yeah, you had him a minute ago.
Come on. And now I moved too fast on my screen and oh, that's him down there, but he's not in costume. Here, this is the champion. Here, this guy here who's all beat up and he's got a black eye because he was just in the fight with the bad guys. I'm sorry I don't have him in costume, but yeah. So the original book, he was married to a woman and they broke up, and she's married, and he stands outside the window looking in. And
oh, it's a bad idea, guys. Bad idea.
Yes. So yeah. So there's the backstory going on with here. Where are we? Here we go. He's looking in on his family, and that's his former wife, and there's her new husband and their kids, and he's like, oh, what's going on? And then he, runs off down to Florida, or no, down to New Orleans, and goes and takes care of business down there, but he ends up back in Chicago for some reason in the new book. So you will have to read. You have to read it to find out what goes on there. So yeah. But Mr. Man has plotted it all out and keeps you on your toes in a very, very exceptional way. Roger that. I'll accept that as a compliment and say thank you. Yes, you are welcome there, Mr. Man. You are a great writer, sir. So, yeah. Trumps. I believe if you guys want great stories, Trumps is a great story.
See, issue 4 is showing up in previews this month, I believe.
Yeah, and I believe that these books are now in your comic shops, and there's been reorders. Is that correct?
Yes. Yep.
So
I read some of them were getting reorders.
We're getting some traction there, folks. Silverline is starting to get on the map. So ask your comic shops, look for our crowdfunders. We've got books, we've got action adventure, we've got sci-fi, we've got what do we got? We've got war history. We've got kids adventure books.
Vampires.
Yes, Rob Davis's own Twilight Grim.
Vampire Hunter. Yep.
And Kalis. This book is. I have nothing but good stuff to say about this book. Kalis, I don't know what it is about this book, but this book just
it's
different. Once you start, you are sucked in, and it takes you for a ride, man. It is.
Yeah.
It is so well done. All right, let's see what this Roland tells us. Roland tells us in comic shops, Trumps 1 and 2, Kalis 1 and 2, Trumps 3 should be in shops in about 2 to 3 weeks.
Yep. And number 4 is being solicited. So.
And Kalis had some reorders. Yes, Kalis number 1. So yeah, so that is a fantastic tale. I call it the ultimate dad book. I don't know if that's a good way to put it, but it's like, so back in the day, like when I was a kid, Green Lantern meant nothing to me, I still, the character doesn't do any, like, I watched some of the cartoons when they came out, and I thought they were kind of cool, and I actually kind of gravitated to the character after I saw the 3D cartoon that came out in, I guess, the mid 2000s there. and they never finished the series, unfortunately. But it was pretty cool. Like, they were telling really cool stories, and I was like, awesome. All right, I can get behind this. So if this is what Green Lantern is, that's great. But interestingly enough, when I was a kid, that was like the character my dad gravitated to. And,
so that's why you call it Dad Comics. Okay.
Well, sort of. And so how do I put this? So that's and then I found out that other dads kind of like the Green Lantern character, like just random, like if they were not really comic book readers, but if they were to reach for a comic book, Green Lantern somehow attracted them.
Okay.
So I don't know how to explain it. There was something about it. I guess it was the sci-fi elements or something about this character attracted men in their 30s who had kids.
And it probably was the sci-fi aspects, because in the 50s and 60s, the popular reading was sci-fi. So that's probably true.
I probably never really understood that notion, but then this book came along, and I was like, you know what? If I was a kid in my teens, and I was like, or in my 10 to 12 to 15 or whatever, like this book, I would probably not give it a second look. But I, as a dad, I look at this, and this is everything that I, as a dad, want to see. I don't know. The cover says everything that I want to. The art, everything in this book is just like, all right. And then you see the layouts, and you're like, wow, okay, this for some reason reads like something I want to read. And then you get sucked in, and you're like, okay, wow. So, yeah, great book. Now, if you want a kid's book, Bear, Silverline's Bear is 1 and 2. Fantastic book. A very awesome allegory. So you want to take a look at that. If you guys ever have a chance, Divinity by Barb Kalberg is a fantastic and wonderful read. Young girl and her older brother are on the run, and she has some sort of weird healing powers, and she's been captured by a bad guy who wants her to heal him. And I think at the moment she's still captured by the bad guy. John Middich, Sniper and Rook, he's one of our co-hosts. We've had him missing in action for a little while, but that's one of his books. And then, of course, I colored this wonderful book, Wolf Hunter 2 in progress. Pages are up on the Dropbox, Roland. So it is coming. It's coming. Yeah. So I'm doing our promos because we've kind of gone over time now. But yeah, Champion and Miss Fury. Miss Fury has a wonderful backstory, and if you guys go looking for the Adventure Comics version by Roland, you will get a very, very interesting tale and Hard Knocks. And if you have a chance to go look it up, go look up the classic strips because they are also a fantastic read.
They had a few of them when I Googled it, and I'm gonna because I used Google. You can use Yahoo as well, but I Googled it and found some full page Sundays in black and white and a few color ones as well, and really interesting stuff. I just having it on my phone is not good enough to show you here. So go out on the internet and take a look at that, because Miss Fury, for the time, think about this, is 1941, early in the era of comic books and comic strips of that type, and this lady's doing some powerful stuff. So, and drawing pretty women. So you can always catch me with a pretty woman.
Oh! You know what, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going over time. I'm going to go over time. I'm so sorry.
Did you finally get it to work?
It just started to work.
Of course.
Oh my goodness. Okay, here we go. Yeah, all right. I got it. Here we go. I have to show you this stuff.
Now you're talking.
Yeah. So sorry it took so long to get here.
Look at the dramatic shadows in that. you know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah, that's,
okay, here we go.
yeah.
Here's an action sequence page. So let's see if we can get in there and zoom in. So here she is with her love interest, and she's always wearing very stylish clothes. So interestingly enough, Torpe Mills was a fashion illustrator, and and then she fell into comics somehow. And so her characters are always very stylishly dressed and always wearing the latest styles.
Expressive, yeah.
So as you can see here, she has not been dressed up as the cat for like several weeks. Still not the cat. Where is she? And here's another love interest. Okay, so now she has a different character that she's hooking up with. Somehow she ends up with this kid who happened to be her original beau, and his wife end up having the kid, and she ends up adopting him or something. Like some weird stuff going on. Here we go.
Oh, there we go. She's in costume. Yes.
Finally in costume. But like the art is just so well done. It's really, really well done.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know how to describe this art.
Yeah, it's very of its era. You know, the Batman stuff looked a lot like this. It's all that Milton Caniff and Noel Sickles influence. You see a lot of that in this.
Yeah, cat fight here. But but she's still doing something that the boys are not doing. And there's
a little bit. You say soap opera. It looks like there is some soap opera to this. You know, she's got a love interest, and she has beautiful clothing, and you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, very interesting. Oh, whoop! There was that bikini back there.
Yeah. So apparently a bunch of
papers dropped her because of that particular scene.
And some
wow.
churches burnt her comics.
Oh yeah, probably.
So like, okay. So I mean, it's pretty racy stuff that they were putting into the newspapers, I would think. But wow, look at this. Just so cool.
Well done. Well done.
I'm going to try and find where she's actually like in her outfit. Yeah, so as you can see, there's like a lot of pages where like she's not in her costume at all. So I'm going to go up to the very start. Let's see if this is this the first book? I don't know if this. Oh no, this is part 2. Oh, this might be the original. Okay, let's see if this is where we can get the. Oh yeah, so here's her original story. And there's the bad guy. She ends up hopping out of the car, and she beats up the bad guy. And then she knocks him out cold. Then there's another bad guy who shows up. She takes him out, and then she finds the cop. Oh no, is this first guy was the policeman? Maybe that's what. Yeah, this is the policeman. So she knocks him out, then she gets the bad guy, and then she hooks the bad guy up to the policeman.
Oh wow! Okay.
And then she runs off and tells somebody about it, and then she goes home.
Really good storytelling, though.
Yeah, exceptional storytelling. And great expressions. Great. Mm-hmm. And here's the main bad guy that keeps coming and going over and over and over again. This is the main villainess, and as you can see, she has the V on her forehead, but eventually she gets a Nazi stamp
swastika on there, yeah,
put into her forehead. So yeah, great stuff. Very well done.
Yep.
Elegant. All right, now I'm going to show you quickly Roland stuff here. So this is Roland's work, and this is the Black Fury, and I believe Mitch Bird is the artist. Let's see if we can find it. find the credits. Yes, Mitch Bird is the penciler. Paige Grow is the inker. Who colored this book? It doesn't say who colored it. Interesting. Oops. And anyways, so this is
probably the Malibu staff.
Yeah. So I just wanted to scroll down. So this character here, the Black Fury, in this story, she is quite the character. The Punisher's got nothing on her. She just takes everybody.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's she takes people out. So this is
monkey on my back.
Yeah. So this is a great dynamic scene. Like they're hanging out through a glass ceiling and they're like, oh no. So I have to wonder, Roland, if you're around, are you still around or did you run? She's classically sexy. Roland, how did you come up with these scenarios? Like how did you come up with these scenarios for these stories? Like he puts them into a precarious. He puts them into the most precarious situation, but it's hilarious at the same time. So it's wild. This is just so nuts. And Mitch captures the the hilarity of it all somehow, and yet still keeps it real. It's
very dynamic. I like it. Yeah,
it's something to behold. It isn't your mainstream comics, but it's definitely got its punch. So yeah, and there's some moments of absolute brilliance floating throughout. Some very, very great scenes. Like this is awesome. Like right here, very cool. Jumping through. Yeah. So anyways, so that was a little bit of retrospective there of Miss Fury there, folks. So sorry it took so long to get to the good stuff. Hopefully you guys stuck around to see that. And if you ever have the chance, go look around for the back issue bins for these books, and look up Roland and look up Champion and Miss Fury. And if you guys get that book on the map, you might have Miss Fury books for ongoing future. So yeah.
All right.
Well, sorry for going overtime, folks. Thank you so much for the ride. LOL, I wanted a connection to the 40s, so you'll note the origin is similar to the original characters. Yes. Roland, since you are there, I do have a question for you. Is the current Marla Drake just the modern iteration of the Marla Drake, or is she in the family line, or is this Miss Champion that we're doing? Is she a reboot? What's going on there? Because she does have the name Marla Drake, which is the original. Is there going to be backstory connecting back to the original, or is it just being informed by the original?
Sounds like it's informed, but we'll see what he says.
Well, that would be telling, wouldn't it? Oh, come on!
Buy the comic and find out.
Yeah.
Buy and read the comic and find out. Very good. Oh. So we better get out of here, man. They're gonna kick us out.
Yeah. So okay, fine. Be that way.
Overstayed our welcome.
Now, no, that's it. So now remember, I suggested that she should have kittens. She does have a child, so she does have a kitten in the caboodle. Now she just needs a couple more.
Man, you're so bad. You're so bad.
All right, folks. that's going to be a wrap for today. Thank you so much for joining us on
And
Wednesday
as we
Wham.
always say,
And as we always say, make mine Silverline. I will have to find our outro here. And let's see. All right. Take it easy, folks. We hope to see you next week. All right. Ciao.
Hey, I'm G-Rod. Make mine Silverline. You heard me.